Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Let's Go to a Race, which is apparently the name that I'm going to give this series. This episode, we're going to Paragon Speedway. I also brought my brother Ryan. He brought his drone. We got some drone shots. I also spent quite a bit of time photographing cars, making them look like they go fast, which I'll get into later. And I ended up leaving early because, well, I'll get into that later. But for now, let's roll a quick little intro of some of my favorite shots of the night. Now. I don't know what's happened. What I think was happening is the track was a little bit wet. They brought the cars out to pack the track, and the track was rather soupy, you might say. So they just got done, I think, packing it down for the most part with the tractors and trucks and all those things. So I had my camera set up for just video. So I'm thinking about just doing pictures for hot laps, get my fix, and then, oh, they're about to fire them off. And then get my fix, and then I'll go to video for the racing action and all of that stuff. I think that's what I'm going to do. We'll find out how that goes. Also, I'm curious how this audio is going to sound from my iPhone that I sync with the camera. Just trying out some different stuff. And before I go any further, this was another case where I was wrong on what I thought was about to happen. What ended up happening was they brought out all the cars and they started packing the track to dry it out some more. I wanted to make the use of that time because I wasn't sure if they were just going to roll straight into racing or not. So I just ended up taking pictures of cars just going relatively slow, but making them look like they were going fast. And I feel like it kind of it made it look like the cars were going faster. I'll stop talking and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So now I know you're dying to know, Tyler, did you do video even? Of course I did. I couldn't make up my mind during these hot laps, so I kept switching back and forth. And here's something that I got from that exact same warm-up hot lap session. Yeah, hot lap session. Here it is. So what I wanted to try to do is I found this like little gap between a tow truck and another vehicle in the infield, and I started off with a higher shutter speed because I wanted to capture cars in between those two objects. And then I got more comfortable and I wanted it to drop the shutter speed a little bit, and then I dropped it a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then I finally got down to 1/20, So a piece of advice if you are new to motorsport photography and all of that, find a slower car to practice this on. In this case, it's the Hornets, not the Bug, the front wheel drive car. And they race and they don't go very fast. Which makes it really good for practicing low shutter speed kinds of photography. The fast sprint cars and things like that, it takes a lot of spraying and praying, as I say, with the camera, and a lot of times I can't get it. One thing that I've found that helps me is setting your autofocus to off and switching to manual focus, and then finding that point where you are going to take the picture of the car, and then you're panning, and then so the car's going to be out of focus as you start panning, but then it's going to get into that area of focus that you do have. Sometimes what can happen is if you have a good autofocus system, any autofocus system for that matter, is if there is a car or anything in front, sometimes that autofocus can catch it, and then all of a sudden you don't have that car behind that car in focus. So setting your lens to manual once you set the focus, and then you start practicing some of these, that helps a lot. Also, that manual focus tip works really well in turns as cars are coming towards you or away from you and you're kind of shooting them down. I like to set my focus, get it set, and then you wait for the cars to enter that frame. That was the last of the pictures that I was taking of that night, and then that's when I left the infield, went to the outfield, grandstands, and started filming the races from a fan's perspective, if you will. It was basically me running around the grandstands trying to get a variety of different angles with people kind of in the foreground to kind of give you that perspective of, as if you were there. So here is my attempt at that. So after filming from that perspective, I figured let's go get the opposite perspective. And so I walked all the way around and I did find this one really cool shot at kind of as they come out of turn 2 and they were coming straight at me. That was new. I wanted to get some of the action that was going on in the pits in between races, and usually things get pretty hectic then. But it also made for some pretty dramatic lighting in a couple of cases, which I was a fan of. That's my favorite. Like when I've got smoke, dust, debris all in the air, and then there's like moody lighting happening, and it was. And then, so it was fan appreciation night, and it was a little after 9. No, it was about 11. It was like 10:30-ish or so. It was pretty late. It was later than I like for it to be. And they had fan appreciation night. So props to Paragon for putting that on and doing that. It was great for the fans. It just was not great for me. So I left. I know when I was a kid growing up at races, it was like every race car driver was bigger than life, and I wanted all of their autographs, and it was a whole thing. So I do know from a fan's perspective what it was like going to that kind of stuff and being able to be a part of it when I was a kid growing up. But as a photographer and videographer of said drivers and races, I was like, I value my beauty sleep much more right now. I found out that they ended up wrapping up racing around 2 in the morning or something like that. It was a whole thing. So that wraps it up for this episode of Let's Go to the Races. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you have any critiques, please fuel all of the algorithm and send all your hate my way. The more comments, the better. If you could critique me in individual comments, that would be ideal. So if you have a list of things that you feel like I should do better or not do, and I'm giving ill advice, please comment it as much as you can. And then also, if you are new to this and you're new to this channel, welcome, and please subscribe, because that's also important for the algorithm. So cool. And I will see you guys at the next race.